Hello, Blood Bowl fans. Right, well, I've created something a little bit new. I had this idea today, and I don't know, I decided to go with it. We have a Wood League in the ICBBL, which is a friendly league where any team can join and you can play any coach whenever you want. And I decided that I'd showcase some of the coaches that are fantastic people in our community for the first couple of games, and later on, whenever new coaches come in, I'll be one of the first people they play probably, so I'll record the game and play with them as well. I'll always try and stream and record these games both, so you can see them live or you can see them in the recording later on. Today I played Yasinde, which is one of our fairly regular coaches, who is also a coach in the ReBBL, which I am also now part of. He decided to play Dark Elves, and I've just missed the lineup, so there's going to be no Sol today. And I was playing as Lizardmen. In the Wood League, I've put a rookie team of each of the races, and the teams that I already had, a Bretonnian team and a Khemri team, have come in from previous seasons of Cups and Leagues. The Chaos team that I'm playing this season will also go into the Wood eventually, so there'll be the Chaos variant. So I have all 16 teams in here, and I'll be playing each one. The coin flip went Yasinde's way, and he did decide to kick. Oh, let's just switch view. That's no good. We want to see the lovely lizards. We want to see up their backside, not up the Dark Elf backside. Now, the way I basically decided to play this game was that I wanted to either score with a Saurus or score with a Crocs, which meant, of course, that things didn't always go to plan, but it made the game a bit more fun, and Yasinde is a top bloke to play. We always have a good laugh, and this game was, of course, no exception. I'm sorry if I'm a bit quiet, but I am recording, and my roommate is sleeping, so I'm trying not to be too loud, though I am hunched over my computer in a very uncomfortable position, so hopefully you can hear me quite clearly. He went for a pretty normal smiley face setup with the Elves. I always like the setup because it just looks like they want to get punched really hard. And I went for a line block lizard lineup. I'm not really very experienced playing lizards, so I'm not sure if it was a good setup or not. I guess we'll find out when I watch it back. One thing it did mean was that I could very quickly box in at least the corners of the Dark Elves and force them to run around me to get to the ball, because this was a damn good kick for Yasinde. That's pretty much exactly where he wants to go as an Elf team. This is a rookie team I'm playing against. They don't have a kick piece, but that kick was beautiful. So my Sorai, I'm going to call him Sorai again. Yes, Sorai is the most logical word for me. My Sorai have all blocked up these last couple of Dark Elves. One thing that I should mention very quickly is that he did actually make a piece named after me, I think specifically for this game, plus the guy I played in the ReBBL League, Hilo, and Squiggy, who is the guy that I have contact with from the ReBBL League and the person who I've become quite good friends with. As I said, Yasinde himself is in both of our leagues. He's in the ICBBL and the ReBBL, so he's our middleman. Blocks were pretty good. I managed to get a stun straight away, and I blitzed with the Crocs for some reason. I think the idea was actually to move the Crocs around and block off a couple of these pieces, but I changed my mind in the end. When I think about it looking back, I could have put the Crocs into the cage. As for his other Elves, they are apparently named after one of his main teams in the ReBBL League in which he plays. And my lizards are all named after different types of lizards, funnily enough. The main punchy pieces are Basilisk and Agama. The pieces that are kind of in support are Saurus himself and Iguana. And then we have Komodo and Gator, who are going to be the pieces that basically are the killer pieces in support. My favourite skink of all is Tadpole, who's currently holding the ball, I guess, because he's usually my ball carrier. And the one that's about to get punched off the pitch is named Skink. We then have Newt, which I guess is here. Oh no, we have Chameleon, and we have Newt in the back. Newt is a receiver, Tadpole will be a carrier, and Chameleon is a support piece. Skink is also a support piece, they're both for punching. Prehensile Tail, as you see, is working very well as the Dark Elf manages to dodge out nice and easily. And Yasinde's done a pretty good job actually of locking off this side, forcing me to go this way, which I'm quite happy to do. I may even try and attempt to pass straight away to Iguana, though I don't think I was playing too silly at the very beginning. In fact, I don't think I moved the ball, so I was playing silly but not intentionally. I haven't been doing too badly with the block so far, but that was just a push, and I finally moved the ball into the cage. I should have done that before I took the block, but I'm still pretty bad at that for some reason. I need to really work on that because I've been doing it horribly. That was a double skull on Crocs. Of course I didn't choose to re-roll it, so I took the 2 down, which resulted in no injury, unfortunately. He got a pretty easy 3-die on my Saurus there, and he did manage to do it with a block piece, which is doubly troubling for me. And he even managed to get a blitzer with his other blitzer. He's doing quite well with the blitzer so far, actually. I wasn't really paying that much attention when we were playing, but he's moving them around very well. And he's using the Witch in support all the time, which is a very clever way to play Dark Elves. No Assassin, which probably wouldn't have helped too much in this team. That's a skull. That's a double skull. The Assassin probably wouldn't have helped much in this team. It would have just been something to punch hard, but Assassin's always fun. I usually play with them myself, and it is a good way of getting rid of skinks. Though blocking skinks works just as well usually. I actually decided to move Iguana, not Komodo. Iguana up on the line. I was going to actually pass to him. I did not want to score with a skink. That was never my goal during this game. I want to try and level up skinks and Crocs as much as possible. I do want Crocs to get the second score, but I was going to give the first score to this source here. I've made my lovely cage, and that was a double skull that I re-rolled into a push. Half cage, sorry. And I get that piece down as well. As long as I can get Crocs up and into the fray, after I block this piece, as long as I can get Crocs up and into the fray, I've got a good chance of scoring next turn, because I can only get a few pieces comfortably onto my cage. But Crocs takes a double skull again, and he goes down. That's unfortunate. That means he can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces onto my half cage very easily after he blocks this Saurus, which he successfully does. 4 pieces, sorry, not 5, but 4 is more than enough. Well, 3 comfortably, 1 with an easy dodge. Now, Yasinde is very much into his surfing, so the Witch is going to do a lot of that this game, at least attempt to, and this is an attempt on Gator, which would be a 1-die following into a half-die, but she does take it, and she gets a block. And that's my first Saurus injured. No Apothecary, of course, and he's going to be out next game. That hurts a bit. And the skull that he doesn't reroll, which is good, he didn't waste it. That's good decision making from Yasinde, as I've come to expect with the experience I've had. I've actually played Yasinde 3 times before this. Each game has been a competitive one, not a friendly one. It's our first friendly, and it was a pleasure, as well as the competitive games always are. You've got skulls again. I'm not doing very well with the blocking so far, but it's only a friendly. I'm not really too worried. Well, you've probably seen by now I don't really get that worried about dice going against me anyway. It's all part of the game. I try the 1-die to try and get the ball out against the Witch, but it fails. I would have given up the score with Tadpole if that was successful. That means that it's pretty simple for him to surf both these pieces if he has the mind to do so, and also get the ball, as he's Dark Elves, quite simply. And he is going to go for the double surf. And it's going to be a very easy double surf, to be fair. Which kicks off Skink, moves into position. This piece comes around, blitzes. That's 2 Skinks gone. Tadpole is injured, which is a shame, because he's my designated ball carrier. It's just badly though, so he will be back next game. Maybe he stubbed a toe or something on his way out. It's probably the most likely result. And Chameleon is also off the pitch, no injury, so he'll be back after this drive. He uses the correct piece to pick up the ball, and successfully does so. Also successfully moves it into position. I told you that I was trying to get the ball into the Crocs' hands. This was my goal all game, and it was what I was going to do here. The idea was down, down, and blitz, but unfortunately I got push, push. So, nothing from the Crocs this turn. I did therefore decide to put Saurus on the ball instead, because it was an easier movement, and of course Bonehead was likely a waste of a blitz with Crocs. I'm getting a lot of skulls. It's a decent punch on the one to blame. He goes down, that's good news, but I get a push again against Hilo. My dodge and stunty both fail, and Skink goes down. The last Skink standing for that matter. My referee Skinks have all been served off the pitch. Blitz is good on Saurus, push is good enough, gives him plenty of space to run through this gap I guess, or even that way would be better, but I guess he is going to run this way. Yeah, with all these free pieces, he just very simply takes this side of the field and all my pieces are locked up. So I'm going to struggle to get the ball. I can do it at the moment, but yeah, it's hard to get through even if I do blitz, and of course dodging is not really an option with a Saurus. It's an option, but it's not a sensible option. And that's another good block from the Dark Elf. Gator goes down. He's using his blitzes very well actually. Yasinde is not the most experienced coach. I don't think you'd mind me saying that, but he gets better every time I play him, and the guys that know him keep saying the same thing. He's getting better and better, and in the Rookie League, in the Rookie League, okay, let's just say that, so we get Designated Stalker down, and he does lose a point in agility, so that's basically a dead blitzer. Unfortunate. In the Rookie League, Yasinde is actually one of their success stories, is the way they describe it. And skulls again, meaning that Saurus goes down and won't get up for a little while. Yasinde is one of their success stories, they say, as he has become a very successful coach. I think personally he's a very good coach. I've played him a few times, but I know he is inexperienced, so he still does sometimes make some strange plays. Though overall, I think he's very solid. And it's showing this game. He is kind of dominating the pitch at the moment. Oh, and almost missed the witch running as far away as possible, but it was but I did manage to catch it. He did deliberate over which place to put the ball carrier, though he did put it in the right place to stop me from getting anywhere near the witch, and the pass was successful. That was very good play. I'm not stopping this score now. It's going to go 1-0 guaranteed. I can get pieces onto the ball, but I need to double GFI and blitz in order to get there in any kind of safe way, which is of course what I will plan to do. One thing that I did was I didn't put Newt in the fight when I could have, but actually it worked out in my favour that I didn't in the end, as you'll see in a moment. First I think we're going to get blitz with the Crocs. Let's try and get the Crocs on the witch, because the Crocs is the hardest piece to put down, of course. That's a successful block on Future Sacrifice. I love these names. I always love these names, though it's something I say pretty much every game. And that's going to make it hard, but not impossible, as there are 4 pieces that are free, so he is going to get a pretty straightforward 2-die block on the Props next turn. I managed to push the the Dark Elf onto the Skink, so the Skink finally gets the punch. The Skink actually did something. Good old Skinks. I really like Skinks, especially since I've been playing the all Skink team. What am I doing? There we go. Sorry, that was weird with the mouse. Just doing weird things. I've had a lot of fun with Skinks playing the all Skink team, but I do like playing lizards as they are as well, though like I say, I don't have much experience playing them against actual people. He did decide to stall because he didn't want to take another round of punching, which I think is fair enough. He's going to get punched anyway, of course, but hopefully he's going to get less punches against him, so it's a very sensible choice. He is doing very well at always making sure that his blitzer gets to punch. He only has one left, of course, but he is doing a very good job of making sure that does happen. Oh, he does have two, sorry. He has 3 blitzers, I forget. Though the stall is successful because, again, there's absolutely no way I can get to the ball. It's physically impossible now. Though I do get to blitz with the Croxigore, it's the only punch I'm going to get, and it's a 2 down again. I think it was a 2 down in the push, but I chose the 2 down to do some damage to the Dark Elf piece, which I didn't. So he decided to take some blocks, which weren't necessary, but with a block piece and a redie, and a reroll, it's a pretty safe option, and it was of course very successful because my second source is now down. He's also out next game, so I may be playing an all-skink team at this rate. Next time I play my lizards, which will be good, because I like all-skinks. It does mean I'll get Hemlock, certainly, and Hemlock is my favourite star player, so next time I play lizards you'll definitely be seeing Hemlock on the pitch. He doesn't manage to put down another piece, and I guess that's going to be it for the blocking. Yeah, which goes in for the score. That makes it 1-0. Well done, son. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, I really like the white on the Dark Elves. I think it's a very contrasting colour, and it's quite beautiful the way that these dark-hearted creatures can live in such a light colour scheme. I think it goes very well as a kind of contrast and even as a fluff suit. At half-time, there's 1 blitzer down for the Dark Elves, 2 Sorai and a Skink. And this half, I dedicate myself fully to scoring with Mr. Crocs. Nope, I don't do that yet. Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Yasinde is going to put a lot of pieces on the line. It is my kick, so he does get the first block. He is trying so hard to serve all my pieces, which is fair enough. It's a pretty sensible thing to do when you have a frenzy piece, and I was nice enough to leave a piece on the line for him. Though it was kind of intentional as well, because I do want him to roll dice where possible. He got a quick snap there, so he did manage to get all of his players that weren't necessary out of blocking range. And he's moved more pieces into support for the potential surf. But it fails, as there isn't a push. It's an armor break though, which is good enough, and Agamo is out for at least 1 turn. Yeah, blitzing a Skink with a blitzer, which is bad news for me, and he does get a POW, which is worse news for me. And down goes Chameleon, but he's fine. I say I'm getting ahead of myself. The plan is to score with a Croxigore this whole game, but I do need to steal the ball with a Skink, of course, because the ball is well out of range. That was quite a bad kick for our team actually, because we want the ball closer to our line, but at least it's on the one side, which may well force him to come down this one way. He fails the pickup, and I think this is me. Yes, it is me. I fail the pickup. I did make a point of telling the piece to fail the pickup as well, so maybe it really is me. He didn't re-roll it though, which was a sensible choice. I kind of screwed up here actually, because I focused way too hard on making sure I got the ball instead of working in defense as a backup, but that was kind of silly of me. I dedicated way too many pieces to trying to take out the ball, and also I made a mistake by putting this piece here, because I wanted the Skink to run through, and I made it harder for myself by doing that. What I should have done is put the first source here, Crocs came in here, and he would have an easier time getting through. And by putting this piece here, I completely screwed up the chance of getting through the middle. So I send my skinks up on the wrong flank, and I make it pretty easy for him to just come down with the ball. This was a stupid play by me, to be honest. Prehensile tail works very well again. The witch gets away, and she manages to block the one piece that is capable of stopping the ball movement, and moves herself into a position that makes it impossible, not impossible, it makes it hard for me to get to the potential ball carrier. It's pretty straightforward here. Pick up, pass, hand off. But the pickup fails. The reroll doesn't. Yep, this is exactly what he's going to do. The pass is successful, as is the catch, and the handoff is pretty straightforward. This piece runs well out of the way, and that's 2-0. Yep, everything's successful. And this piece here is fan number 1, gets well out of range. That's going to make it 2-0 unless he stalls more than is necessary, which I doubt he will. I just had a message from my fiancée telling me that she's going to be my wife. Either she's drunk or she's only just come to this realization. Either way, I felt like sharing that because it's a nice little message. Didn't mean to zoom out, sorry about that. So I'm doing everything I can to desperately get pieces down, but of course it's not going to work. So I take the few blocks that I can, hoping to get potentially one injury to make it a little bit easier to score back. And I guess I actually took the blitz on the wood elf because this is Squiggy and I didn't want to hurt Squiggy, so I hit the witch instead. I called her a wood elf, but she's a witch. Yeah. Yasinde does move his pieces back into a position where they can punch. Prehensile tail is working wonders. And we're going for another surf because that's what Yasinde does. And it's successful. It's very successful. Agam is going off the pitch. He's not hurt. He'll be back next turn. Next drive. Probably next turn, actually, if this piece doesn't stall. I was making a decision during this turn as well. If he did stall, then I was going to give up the idea of scoring with the crocs. If he didn't, I was going to dedicate all of my pieces to scoring with the crocs after this drive. And he's still taking blocks when he doesn't really need to, but it's working out well for him, so can't complain too much. He does have a reroll, but it'd be a waste of a reroll. And he gets a 2-die block with the blitzer again. He's doing very good with this. And it's just a 2-down, but with the block piece, that's fine. Fan number 1 does get score number 2. Well done, Yasinde. You've just put this game out of reach for me. Like I say, though, it is a friendly. I'm not too worried. Still only 1 elf out, not even a KO. And I've got 2 Sorai and a skink out still, including the one that got surfed that's going to come straight back. So, the smile is looking slightly less happy now, but it still works pretty well. It's just a gap-toothed grin instead. As a result, he breaks the smile completely. That's a shame. I quite like the gap-toothed grin. That was a funny little thing. And he's covered both flanks, and he's also put a surfing piece on the side still. I am going to focus mostly in the center now, though. It's not because I don't want to get surfed so much, it's just that I want the crocs to go as the piece to score. I put all the saw around the line, because they're going to try and damage these free. I put the crocs in receiving position, because that's where he belongs at the moment, and the 3 skinks in support. Is it crazy? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. Riot means that it's going to be harder to score with the crocs. Now I've decided that that's the way I'm going to go. Of course, that's a shame. That's a bad kick for the lizards because Crocs is going to struggle to get the ball from there. He's going to have to be passed to instead. First block is a push. Second block is that sign that I never know what to call. Though no damage. And the third one on high-low, my new opponent. I've just injured him. I'm sorry, Harlow, you were such a nice guy to play against, but I've just knocked out your armor, essentially killing you. Sorry about that. It was nothing personal. It was my Saurus, not me. And another blitz comes in. The blitz comes in, it's successful, but it's just a push, which is a shame. A bonehead with the Croxagore. And I had an interesting question here. Whether you can hand off to a piece that is boneheaded. And I'm going to try if I don't fail again, which I didn't. Here it comes. Croxagore doesn't react, the ball just bounces off him. So for future reference, if anybody ever wants to try this crazy play, bonehead means cannot catch. It's the same as having no hands. I'm sure you were waiting to hear that. And of course, here comes the surfing chance. This one's a push, which is good. And second is also a push that makes the surf possible. All he needs to do is bring in the blitzer, which he's going to do. He's going to actually sacrifice the blitzer, whose face is missing. Is his face missing? Oh no. Okay, I thought there was a graphical glitch there. Surf is successful, and I didn't see the piece. Agama again. Okay. They don't like Agama apparently. He's gone off again, but he's not injured. He will be back. Other Dark Elves come in to make it harder for the Croxagore to do his job, but the Croxagore is going to push hard, and he's going to try to score. I have the exact right amount of turns at the moment to get the Croxagore up the pitch. The last dodge is successful as well, meaning that all these pieces are free. Yasinde said that Squiggy always plays Elves, so he should be dodging. Croxagore pickup was successful after not boneheading, which is very nice. And Croxagore can even move into a safe-ish position. You do take a block against the one to blame, getting him out of the way. I followed, which was stupid. That was not the plan, but I think it was a misclick actually. I did want, of course, to have the skink here though, not where it is. Though I will do my best to lock up the few pieces that can get to the Crocs, so it's harder for him to get a decent block on him. And I've moved one piece in a scoring position just in case I do have to pass. Sorry, just going to take a drink very quickly. So all these pieces that have been surfing, surfs for the surf god, as Urban would say. The surf god he names Brody, which is a stereotypical name for an American surfer. So far, their sacrifices have been paying dividends for the team. He does manage to move Dark Elves into position, so he's going to be able to block me next turn, even if he can't stop me this turn. And again, he's blitzing with the block piece. He's doing very well in this regard. Very impressive. And he's made it very difficult for me to get the Crocs through there, if not impossible. Though he does fail a dodge, which means that Crocs can go this way, potentially, which is where he's probably going to go. It's the only choice. It's definitely where he's going to go. I do pick up the Saurus first, which I didn't really need to do, but I suppose it's a way of making sure that if it does go wrong, I keep the ball. It's just a push, which is not ideal, and I'm not even going to be able to follow that. So I go up through the middle, which is impossible to defend, though I will do my best by putting the skinks in support and bringing back the piece I would have passed to if I had the chance. I have to cage here, I have no other option, so I do just that. First skink manages to dodge out, and second skink also does. Perfect. The cage is complete. Croxagore still has the exact right amount to walk in without using GFIs at the moment. First block is successful, though I'm sure he would have wanted to follow that up. Though a KO is good, it means that there is a break in the cage. Of course, you should never put a cage on pieces, but if it's the only option. Double skull is nice, but it is turned into a push. which is slightly less nice, but at least it's me, at least I am being successful. This isn't how I normally wear my makeup, but I do like the choice of face. It's pretty good, and he did capture my marble head very well. And another skink is down after that block from the blitzer. Missed next game. That's 3 pieces out next game. 2 Sorai and a skink. He punches the last piece as well, but dodge pays off. There's too many pieces on the Crocs. Crocs isn't scoring. Instead, Crocs is going to try and pass to this Saurus. The block is successful, and we managed to make a gap. It's my only chance to score, so this is what's going to happen. Saurus is perfectly in position, and Crocs is going to try a pass. And he's going to fail the pass, and I'm going to reroll. No loner, no loner, no loner, but he still fails. Of course, it's 6+6+. It wasn't very likely, but, well, it's all about entertainment. It's not about doing the right thing all the time, especially in a friendly game. He looks up the Saurus to make sure that nothing goes wrong there, and he brings in a piece to put the Saurus down, making it possible for him to pick up the ball, because he does want to 3-0 here, of course, if possible. Puts the blitzer on the skink as well, which is good, and rolls a skull, which means that actually I have a chance to get the ball off to Saurus, but the skink is going to have to do it. He's going to have to successfully pick up, run through, and pass because of a GFI. I do make it easier by knocking down the piece that is blocking him. And here comes the skink. And he fails the pickup. That's game over. 2-0 to Yasinde. Well played, my friend. Well played. One of the linemen gets man of the match, giving him a level up because he managed to pass during the game. And Skink, Newt, the last skink standing, gets man of the match, and he's following my mouse. That was a bit strange, but that was cool. Statistics, which I don't really trust anymore, but let's have a quick look. 37% ball possession for the Dark Elves. I don't think the ball possession was so evenly distributed, actually, so that's wrong immediately. 2 successful passes, 38 blocks to 36 blocks, 1 KO, 3 injuries versus 2 injuries. Quite a bloody match in the end. I thought it was quite friendly, but looking at it, there were quite a few injuries. Lots of running from the Dark Elves, a bit of running from the Skinks, I guess, more than the Sorai, and the return blocks. You see, it says I had 4 casualties, but he did 3. KO counts the casualty as well, I see. In terms of SPP, these are both rookie teams, so he has 1 level up, 2 within 1 piece, 2 within MVP level up territory. AD English is a lineman, Future Sacrifice is a lineman, fan number 1 and former fiance, I believe, were blitzers, and Rowdy Lookalike is the witch. As for my team, Newt, the skink, got man of the match, and I managed to do 2 injuries with 2 separate Sorai, so they've both got 2 each and are in MVP level up territory. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon even. May Nuffle smile on you all. Bye bye.